All right, hey everyone, my name is Jared Greenberg, the Houston real estate broker. Today I'm going to go over the Houston area market. We're going to go over July of 2025, go over some brief statistics. I want to show you guys some graphs, kind of show you what the market is doing in today's, real estate interest environments, and just go from there. Let's take a look. Okay, so looking back at July 2024 to 2025, total property sales, we were at 8,900 versus 9,700 in the Houston area, 9% up this year, month over month. When we look at total active listings, we're at 46,000 for July of 2024 versus 61,000 in 2025. This is actually a record, so we've never had this many listings. This is actually for all listings in the Houston area though. So for the single family listings, that number is more around 40,000, but it's still a record high listing count. A lot of that has to do with the market environment, with higher inventory hitting the market, along with Houston being one of the highest builder-friendly cities in the nation, with just tons of homes being built the last 10, 15 years. When we go and look at the average sales price year over year, 2025, 434,000, down 1.9% from last July at 443,000. When we look at the median sales price, we're at 339,000 versus 350,000 last year, so down 3.1% on the median. And when we look at single family months inventory, we're up 5.5 months versus 4.2 months last year. What this statistic basically shows you is if listings were to quit hitting the market today, it would take, on the current sales rate, it would take 5.5 months for the inventory to be sold off the market. Now, historically, we usually see a 6-month inventory, as people like to call that more of an even market on a buyer-seller scale. The last 10 years, though, people have not been used to 5.5 months here in the area. People have been used to 3 months, 2 months. With the lower interest rate environment we saw the last 10 years, people buying houses, inventory hasn't sat for very long, so people just aren't used to it. It is going to be a shocker for a lot of people when we getting into this normalized environment of having homes sitting on the market for a little bit longer, but it is not out of the norm when you look historically back. Now, it is going to feel more like a buyer's market though, because your listings are going to sit a little bit longer when we put it on the market. Buyers are going to have a little bit more negotiation room since the last 5 years or so. So let's take a look at some of these graphs to kind of show you a visual of what all this looks like. So when we look at the average price and the median price, and we put it on a graph, go back 5 years, we can see that over the last 5 years, we're still projecting upward. And if you look at these dates on the bottom of the screen, you can see these dips. Every January, you see the dip in the prices. And if you look at the peaks, you can look at July of every year. We're seeing a peak in price. Now, this year, on the average price, it was slightly lower than last year in July. And if you go to the median was slightly lower than last year in July. But if we go, looking at this 5-year chart, you can see that we're still in an uptrend. Now, if we look at the home sales in general, so this isn't going to be price, this is going to be the amount of sales. So we can also see these peaks and troughs. So we see in January of every year, we see the lowest amount of sales in the Houston area. Now, if you look at July of every year, you're seeing these peaks. And from what you can see here is it would give you the illusion that we're basically on a downtrend. What I would say, how to kind of look at this graph appropriately, would be 2020 to 2023, that was a lower interest rate environment. That was during the COVID time. Sales were through the roof. We had record sales. Prices were climbing 10, 15, 20% a year, depending on your area. And now, since that 2022 to 2023, you can see kind of right here where it drops. That's when interest rates went back up, and we've kind of flatlined the last few years, you can see right here. So my guess is we're probably going to normalize and keep this keep these numbers going, and then we're going to have to just see what happens. But this right here is the interest rates dropping, basically right here. So we had low interest rates, high demand, and the interest rates dropped right here, and we've kind of normalized. And one other thing I kind of want to show you guys, townhouse condominium sales in the Houston area. There's another 5-year graph showing the sales data. You can see the troughs in January, you can see the peaks in July. We are seeing a downtrend right here though. We had 468 units sold in July of 2025. Townhome condominium sales, they're just, it's just not going to be as many units like this comparing it to single family. But yeah, this is the data for the Houston area. Just a brief overview. I don't want to go into a 30-minute presentation, but if you're looking to buy or sell here in the Houston area, you want me to pull some specific numbers on a zip code, part of the city, let me know, reach out to me, send a DM if you want me to look at a specific area. I can pull those numbers. If you're looking to buy or sell in the Houston area, send me an email, shoot me a DM, and I look forward to helping you guys.